All right, and we're live. Welcome, everybody.
Hello, hello. I've been teasing my son, so I can't help but just keep grinning and smiling. Thank you for coming today very much. We've had some changes in our weekly, webinar. And so I haven't made a presentation for several weeks or, maybe almost a month now. So it's been fun to get back into it. But I really appreciate just the effort of everybody to come on and give us suggestions and give us testimonies. And so we'll be taking some towards the end of the program. And I would like to give a watch away. So, put in a testimony or why you want to watch, anything like that. And we will draw a watch towards the end. So make sure you let us know if you have had any results or why you might like a watch, whatever. But again,
that's a great plan.
So what else would you like to do? Anything else that we need to say before we get started?
No, I think we're just so thankful for everyone who's here and learning today together. So
absolutely. Joseph and John are going to be answering some questions in the background. I'm going to tease them because they've gotten a little bit of feedback that they're too serious and they're not paying attention or they look sleepy when all they're doing is concentrating and answering questions. So that's how we have to have fun once in a while. So they are going to be in the background, and there's the lights. So, and Joseph is actually in Germany today. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. In Germany, yeah.
And John is in Tennessee, and I'm from Kansas City. So I know we have people from all over. So again, thanks for coming. So let's get going on what we're talking about today and have some fun and see if we can share some ideas about the WAVwatch. So I wanted to talk about wounds and recovery today a little bit. We have that category on our watch. I think it's labeled a little bit differently, but we are talking about the wounds area. And it wasn't until I got to working on this that I really learned how important so many things are that possibly the WAVwatch could help with. So obviously we have 1,000 different settings to correct imbalances in our body. And these are acoustical settings on the WAVwatch. So don't forget that they're very safe because they are the sound of your voice. It's just like a hum. It's like a Tibetan bowl or a chime, that kind of thing. It's just an acoustical sound. And probably one of the biggest questions I always have is, can someone wear it if they have a pacemaker or a defibrillator? And again, it's yes, because these are acoustical sounds. If your doctor has told you that you have to plug your ears up and you can never hear a sound again to be able to wear a pacemaker, that would be no to that. But there is not a problem. But there is a problem wearing a pacemaker if you're doing some of the electrical tools, some things that work with electrical ideas in yourself. So do be aware of that. But the WAVwatch is very much related to acoustical sounds. And don't forget, I always have to remind you that we are for self-care. We are trying to help maintain, encourage good health, reduce the impact or risk of chronic diseases and conditions where self-care has been shown to play an important role in the quality of the health and life. The WAVwatch, this product, is not intended to diagnose, to treat, to cure, or to prevent any disease or medical condition. We have to be very obvious that we are not covering those. And this is a self-care device. You have to decide when to set it, how long to set it, and what to set it on. It's not a licensed medical product, and all acoustical frequencies are still considered experimental. It's not FDA approved or considered a medical device. And anytime you give a testimony, I just want to thank you for your effort, your volunteering, and no one has been reimbursed for their testimony. Now, we do use the name of commonly used disease names only to refer to the appropriate area so that you can find the sound frequency. It is not saying or diagnosing that particular problem. And I'm not sure if all of you know that, a month and a half ago, we won an award called the Dragonfly Innovation Awards winner. And that really was because of all of your votes. They were really amazed. There were 19 different new types of tools in this particular category that were very much alternative ideas for self-care. And we were the winner for this year, 2024. So thank you for your votes, and I appreciate that. And you can look up Dragonfly if you want to see some more information about that idea. But again, thank you for helping us win our first award. So as a family business that's growing, you can see how near to our, you are near to our hearts. There's no other way to say it. I have been reading some of the comments in the comment section, and I already had tears in my eyes before we even started the program. So thank you for your input. The WAVwatch is very targeted on frequencies. We have 1,000 frequencies, and they are named at this point. So they're targeted. There's no wires or cords or patches. Don't forget, it's not hooked to the internet. It's entirely a standalone product that you charge it yourself. I think it's cost effective. Everybody has a budget, but we tried to do the best that we can. And I am very, pleased to say that I've looked at, quote unquote, some med bed ideas where you actually lay on a bed and it has every frequency that they could pull in. It's making this loud noise, and it's $60,000, somewhere in that area, 40 to 60,000. And in retrospect, I've had people say, oh, the WAVwatch is like a little bit of a med bed on your wrist at only, around $500. So I think it's cost effective. And if it's not for you, then we do have payment plans. We have other ways that, you can pay for it. And we are now able to work with with FA, help me out here, HSA and FSA. They are you are able to use those payment plans on the WAVwatch now, and it is in the back office when you pay for it. And I might here towards the end of the program have one of my sons explain it just a little bit better than I did. I kind of got tongue-tied on that one, but it's easy to change, and it's useful for all ages and even animals, as you can see in the next couple of slides. The WAVwatch works, and I may be covering things that I've covered before because we have new people, so I just want to make sure everybody realizes that you don't have to hear a sound for it to affect your body. So an audiologist, Alfred Tomatis, says that our bones, as well as our skin, are involved in hearing. And when we talk, our skull vibrates and sends sound waves through the spine into the rest of the body, mainly through the bones. So that's one way that it's huge. And then to even back this up, our nerve impulses could be sound impulses. And maybe that's why we're getting so many different testimonies from people who have nerve problems, because the Niels Bohr School of Physics, this is in Denmark, says that our body's nerve impulses may actually not be electrical. And that's a huge idea, because they say it will probably take about 50 years for us to relearn the whole idea that maybe our nerves are sound impulses. So this could be a long time coming, but we want to let you know that they've done the research, they have put that out there, and they are trying to educate people that we probably have sound impulses rather than that are not electrical. Our nerve impulses are not electrical, they are sound. And just to share a couple of photos, don't forget we have animals pictures all the time. Lots of people really love it for their horses. We've had dogs and cats and all kinds of things. We have veterans that we share the WAVwatch with. It works for small children and grandparents also. So this is my lovely husband, Carl. So it is a very adaptable tool for everyone to use. And then if you order the WAVwatch, you'll get it in a nice box, and these will be inside the box. You'll have a film right here that you need to take off, and then you'll put the heavier screen protector on it. You have a charging brick and a cord, a case to carry it in, and a 24-page booklet, plus 2 different types of wristbands. And if you don't like either of those, you can go online or, go somewhere. It's a Fitbit style watch, size 22M. So some people want it colored, and I'm sorry, we're still at the point where we can't have colored colored wristbands. Just can't keep up with it yet. But you can find one if you want for fairly affordable. Don't forget that frequencies are absorbed 100% through your body, where if you are taking a prescription, a chemical, even a supplement, your body really does not absorb it. It burns it up, and only 2% of things that we take in our bodies, and I hate to say even supplements, they go through the same way as a chemical does. And so those are burned up, and that's why we need to take all of those ideas over and over again. So maybe I'm being a little bit controversial here, but I think that's why sound frequencies and something called Rife technology was banned over 100 years ago, because it works a lot quicker. It's totally absorbed into your body. And in contrast, chemicals had to be used over and over again. So there's no doubt in our mind there's a little bit more money involved in that particular idea. So that's all I was trying to say. And then I've kind of already addressed this, but each song is a little bit more like a something that your body hums along to. And there's different ones, though I do have different phrasing. I say, it's kind of like Elvis has 5 or 6 different songs, and your body likes some of them better than the others, So your body's going to move along with one song. I might have something phrased Parasite 1, Parasite 2, Parasite 3. That was just the best way that I could figure out to let you know that these were different frequency sets for the same problem. And so they're just a little bit different, and your body may like one of them more than the other. And when I say may like, it may react to that. And actually, if you do have a reaction, it is very good. You do want to have some kind of a reaction once in a while. You're not going to on everything. But if your body does react, it kind of tells you that that's a good song for it to play that over again. Now, I've had a reaction that I've shared before, and it was kind of interesting, because I was walking around and playing the watch on pathogen folder for the first time when I put it together. And basically, all of a sudden, I felt a huge stabbing sensation in my thumb area. And I literally went, it hurt. And I was able to activate, the screen and see that it was playing Epstein-Barr virus on there. And the sensation only lasted, 8 to 10 seconds, not very long at all, but enough for me to go, So I noticed it, obviously, and nothing else happened. It played through a lot more frequencies. But then when I woke up the next morning, immediately I noticed that I had no arthritic sensation in my hand. Now, I'm not making a claim that it cured arthritis or that I even had arthritis, because I wasn't diagnosed with it. All I was saying is that I had a soreness in this particular area that has been gone now for maybe 2.5 years, where before that I had 2.5 years of pain with everything that I had done. It had not gone away, but I did have 8 seconds of reacting to that frequency, and something changed drastically. So that was a little bit of a long story, just to tell you that sometimes a reaction to something is good. It tells you that something's going on. Now, finally, we're to talking about wound healing a little bit. We got our kind of some business and background ideas out of the way, but I just wanted to let you know that I missed this last month. I guess there is a wound healing awareness month, and it's in June. And then I saw more, images that were saying they have wound awareness healing week, and that's in August. And somebody else was having a wound healing awareness week in July. So whatever you want to say, there is more and more information about wound healing and being aware of it, because there are definitely some problems when we don't take care of ourselves as good as we should, and we have wounds that are not healing. It is very important to make sure that we do this. And I have some statistics that I'll share with you a little bit later. But anyway, I thought this was a good time to talk about wounds a little bit. So if you have any other ideas about wounds or any testimonies or whatever, this is the time to be able to share them towards the end of the webinar. You want to continue using wave relief, which is the inflammation, pain, and trauma idea. It was voted the best all-around frequency by users, and that's the one that we tell you to use the most. So that's the one you want to start off with, the very first one that's on the watch. You look at chronic, and alphabetically, it is out of order. I put it at the very top so people would see it first. That is the most important frequency set there. Now, if you dig a little bit deeper, we have a different section for wounds and recovery. So this would be in self-care, and it's going to be alphabetically down at the very bottom, obviously. And don't forget, you can go down on the WAVwatch, or you can go up with the arrow when you are looking at self-care, and it has many different ideas on it. So I was trying to give you a look here to tell you how many. So it looks like there's about 29 ideas on self-care. So instead of using the down arrow, I hope everybody can understand what I'm talking about. If you've used your WAVwatch, you know the down arrow and the up arrow here on the edge. So on this one, when we're using wounds, I would go up, and you can find wounds very easily. So when you open that particular folder, then you're going to see these ideas. And we do have a question. Lucia, is it okay to have WAVwatch at 0 sound during the night for it to still work? I would say no. When there's no sound, I do not feel that it's vibrating. You have to have that vibration for your body to feel it. So most people don't hear it underneath the 4 when it's set on 4. So that's what I set it on at night, is 4, or maybe 3, but definitely please do not have it on 0. I do not think you're getting any effect out of it at all. Again, it's all about feeling those vibrations. Okay. So when we go to the wounds and recovery, we'll see adhesions, we'll see healing and regeneration, we'll see inflammation, pain, and trauma, regeneration and healing, wounds, healing injuries, wounds penetrating, several different ideas. So they're all for trying to get a wound to heal a little bit better and quicker. So a big question is, well, how long do I play it? There is not a right or wrong. Obviously, someone could have a wound like this and maybe play that those ideas throughout the night, where somebody else might have just cut themselves a little bit or gotten scratched by a dog or a cat or something, and they play it for, 2 loops. So you have to, again, be your self-care person and decide how long to work with some of these. Now, I always mention muscle testing, and I have several programs on muscle testing, and you can eliminate it a lot quicker by doing some muscle testing. And you can muscle test and say, oh, my body likes the frequency wounds, healing, injuries the best, the most. So I'll play that one the longest. So if you don't know how to muscle test, just play all of them. But if you want to muscle test and maybe set an idea, it would tell you which one would be the strongest suggestion for you. So again, I really want to encourage people to learn a little bit about muscle testing. So you can look back, or maybe if it's popular enough for requests, we'll do some more information on muscle testing. But these are the ideas for wounds and recovery. But there's more information. We kind of forget sometimes the importance of taking care of ourselves a little bit. So don't forget that when you call a doctor, it is important to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. So we have this slide here. Now on mine, the slide number is kind of covering that. Is there? I guess I didn't touch it right. So, when there's severe bleeding, when there's damage to the veins and arteries, when there's, an infection sign, intense pain, or even numbness, those are suggestions for when you should call a doctor. But other than that, take care of yourself with a clean cloth. Put your wound above your heart, rinse under water, put some antibiotic cream on, cover it with a sterile bandage, and use the WAVwatch, So you've got a new tool here that you can use. Some people have some red light therapy. Some people have essential oils. We'll keep going with a few more ideas. But we need to be adding things and really taking care of wounds because they are seeming to be more severe and causing more and more health problems that I didn't really realize. So important. Another idea that I just wanted to remind you of is that we are emotionally tied to wounds. Not all our wounds are visible. So sometimes we have a traumatic accident of some kind and have broken bones or a large gash or whatever type of wound has occurred, and we still have emotional trauma from it. So don't forget there are about 100 different frequencies for different kinds of emotions on the WAVwatch. So do play the emotion area after somebody has a visible wound that was pretty traumatic. And sometimes it doesn't have to be severely traumatic. Everybody has a different amount of trauma that they can absorb or stress or whatever we want to be calling it. But it's a good idea all the time. And that's why probably the favorite frequency does include trauma. So please play that and take care of your emotions after any kind of an accident. Let's see. I needed to kind of slow down just a little bit. I see lots of ideas and questions and comments coming in, but I'm not catching all of them here. But I appreciate you having some comments, and hopefully you're getting all of them answered as I'm talking with you here. Now, one other area I think that is very interesting on the WAVwatch is under skin. And so you can go to this organs, skin, and then open up restore. And then when you see restore, you'll see that there is a category for bruises, cell restoration, elastin regeneration, regeneration and healing, RNA and DNA restoration, skin collagen, and tissue restoration. So there's 7 different ideas here that you could also use for your skin. And so I would play through all of those also. Very, very important. It seems like my husband had an IV recently, and the person had a lot of trouble. And both of my husband's inner elbow, inner arm area was very, very bruised, a large bruise. And so I reminded him, hey, we've got a frequency for bruises. Why don't you wear that? So he said there was some improvement in it, and it took us a couple of days for us to visit back and forth. And I'm going, oh, play bruises. So sometimes we even forget what's available. But all of these ideas for skin restoration would go along with a wound of some kind most times. So it's important to know that there's more than one idea. Now, obviously, if your wound gets infected, you're going to go to the bacteria. And I think I forgot to put this one in, but there is one for antiseptic. And I'd even forgot that. I didn't get it in this particular slideshow. But you can look around for some different ideas. Obviously, if you think you've gotten it infected some way, then look in that germ folder and see what else you can find, which would be mostly bacteria. And then again, there's information for looking it up because I wanted the right words. Antiseptic General 1, Antiseptic General 2, infection, and sepsis. So those I should have actually put in the presentation also. But those would be some good ideas to also play when you have a wound of any kind that has a cut or something is swollen or irritated. And then obviously make sure you get to the doctor as necessary. Pretty important to take care of this. We also have so many things that we can do. I found this particular slide and I thought it was colorful enough to show you that quite a few different ideas could be helpful, and they've been used for generations and centuries, if you want to say that. So aloe, I remember having aloe as a child, and that was always our go-to for if we cut ourselves or if we burned ourselves or whatever. And so aloe is great for all kinds of wounds. It has high vitamin E. Recently, in the last 25 years, probably, versus using aloe for 70 years, lavender has been used for different kinds of wounds. And that seems to be the essential oil that is used most often in recipes for wounds. So hopefully you're keeping lavender around anyway for all of its other great benefits, but it is also for wounds. And I just happened to travel with my own WAVwatch case, but it happens to be an extra case, and I have just filled it up with some, there you go, with some essential oils. I have a terrible time showing this correctly. So there it is. So you want to use some, have some way to carry your essential oils around with you also. So I travel lightly. I've just been out of the country and we took essential oils in the WAVwatches, so that was the easiest travel we've ever done and had ourselves covered with many, many ideas. So tea tree is another essential oil that's very good for wounds. Echinacea. Pineapple, just the food. Pineapple contains bromelain, which is an anti-inflammatory. So that makes it better. And then mallow, I wasn't quite as concerned about, but I have this very plant right out in my yard. So those are some different ideas. And you can see many ideas on the internet. That is one of the things I love about the internet, is the ease that you can just pick your phone up and say, what essential oils do I need for wounds? And there you have a list, and then you can go from there. So here's another one that I found, and this one was called an owie spray, and a handmade one, but they use tea tree, lavender, and frankincense. So that was how easy it was to look up some ideas, So very important there to realize that there's different things that you can do, and also so many different things that you can do on the WAVwatch. And essential oils, I love because they are actually frequencies. That's what they are to start with. They are a very, very high vibrational frequency, and they can be very helpful. They are obviously not acoustical frequencies, but they are the high ultrasonic, almost you might say, types of frequencies, very high range frequencies. So that way you have a couple of natural ways that God gave us to work on healing ourselves. So someone asked, I'm waiting for my watch. Is there a minimum amount of time the watch needs to be playing for effectiveness? And that's a hard one to answer yes or no. The minimum is coded in for you already, and that is 8 minutes. Now, if it's longer, the suggestion there is that I've already included a couple of things so that you don't have to make a playlist for that. I've put several things together for you. But you could take that frequency set and loop it around several times. But, I don't know if your hand wound looks like the one I showed earlier, or if it's one that is just minimal. So the more severe problem you have, you are probably going to play it longer. But the minimum time is built in on the timing of the watch itself. You are your self-care person, and you will decide how long to run it. Now, remember, it's a song. It's just a song. So your body isn't necessarily going to want to listen to the same song for 20 hours. You're not going to go that crazy. And you obviously don't want to play, constipation for 20 hours. I've had somebody do that and tell me that, they went the opposite direction. So you do want to use some common sense on that, but there is not a right or wrong. Just use common sense and maybe play it, 2 hours at the most. For a medium idea, maybe you only need it 30 minutes for a small scratch, that kind of thing. I played it the other day for bites and stings, and I think I put it on about 30 minutes, put it on a loop and watched it for about 30 minutes. So different ideas for different times, but you're in charge. Okay, so I think everybody can probably read this. I've been educating myself about frequencies since I've had my WAVwatch. It's so interesting, and today is Nikola Tesla's birthday. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Thank you, Linda, for giving us Tesla's technology. Thank you. We're so grateful. About a year ago on Tesla's birthday, it might have been a couple days, one way or the other, as close as I could get, I did a whole presentation about Tesla. So you might be able to find that in the Facebook live presentations. But Tesla is amazing. It was said that he had so much interest. Obviously, we know a lot about him now, but what I didn't know was that one of his friends was Mark Twain, and that they got together and Tesla had a vibration type plate that he had made with frequencies in it, and they had to kind of chide and tease themselves a little bit, evidently, because they overdid it on the vibration plate and evidently were running to the bathroom quite a bit, So somehow that made it into a Tesla book of some kind that I saw. So anyway, Tesla is amazing. We wouldn't have our lifestyle today without Tesla. And so thank you for reminding me that today is his birthday. Now, this is a slide that I couldn't decide whether I wanted to share it with you or not. It was so upsetting, but maybe that's why we need to be seeing it. So this is why wound care matters. And again, Wound Healing Awareness Month was last month, but their statistics are telling us that every 4 seconds, somebody, develops a wound in the US. And then every 30 seconds, a diabetic patient suffers an amputation. That's what I had a hard time with. So, wow. So we need to pay so much attention to our wounds, whether we have diabetes or not, because we don't want anything to become septic. We don't want, huge infections to occur. We don't want something else to be problematic. All kinds of things can happen, but this is one that really slapped me in the face, So they have a 60% chance of death within 5 years after an amputation. So again, I was really having trouble with these statistics, but they're telling us that if you go to a wound care, advantage group, that 74% of patients avoid amputation. Okay. So again, 78 to 80% of them are healed within 8 weeks. So we have to be taking better care of ourselves. I did not realize that these statistics were that bad. So please use your WAVwatch for some wounds, for skin healing, for regeneration, for taking care of parasites. You can get all kinds of things in your wounds, and really have some problems with it that way. So it is so important, and I did not realize these statistics. So don't want to make too much of them, but don't want to not let you know either that we evidently as a society are not doing a very good job taking care of ourselves, because there are so many amputations occurring now. So do yourself a favor and, learn some things about wounds, and do as many things as you can when you happen to have an injury of any kind. Now, I'm also considering bones. We're going to hurt ourselves, or, have trauma fractures, or, bone fractures, that kind of thing. And so I wanted to remind you that bones is a category. You would go to pain and then bones. And then there are all kinds of ideas there that are very important, that could be helpful if you've, sprained your arm, or, hurt your foot, that kind of thing, but you haven't necessarily gotten a diagnosis from the medical community, or maybe you have gotten the diagnosis and it's a sprain rather than a break. But take care of yourselves in the best manner that you can. You've had some kind of an injury, obviously, and hurt your bones. And so this is a very important category too. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not. This is actually my sister-in-law. And she sent us this picture, and she had sprained her foot, or no, she didn't. She broke her ankle playing golf. She actually broke it, and they put in an amazing amount of pins. I had no idea they could do that many pins. And she had a cat. She was a cat lover. And she remembered some conversation about us telling her that cats purr at a frequency that helps heal bones. So this is her cat. This is her WAVwatch. And when I saw the picture, I had forgotten that she actually put the watch on the cat. But this is perfect. This shows you that the WAVwatch can be used two different ways. So because the cat was touching her, the frequencies from the WAVwatch were going through the cat and on into her body. And the cat's purring frequencies were actually going into her body also. So don't forget, it could go the opposite way. If your pet has a strain of some kind, or, sore bones or whatever, you can be wearing the WAVwatch for, say, bone trauma, and the animal sitting on your lap could be absorbing those frequencies from you. So it goes both ways. They can share frequencies, and we can share frequencies with them. I just think that is amazing. And I know I've told this story before, but it's my favorite story, proving to me, or showing me, that frequencies do go back and forth. I had a gentleman call, and he said he had gotten the WAVwatch for his wife with Parkinson's. And then he kind of hesitated a little bit, and you could tell he was trying to figure out what to say. And then he just kind of blurted out, and we sleep really close together. And then he blurted out again, and I could feel her frequencies when she had the WAVwatch on. And then one more comment was, and I got up the next morning and my feet didn't hurt. So I said, oh, that's really neat. And he goes, no, you don't understand. My feet have hurt for 15 years. I've been on medications for 15 years. So the frequency, evidently a neuropathy type frequency that was built into the Parkinson's frequency his wife was playing, was what he needed for his feet. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. I think that's a perfect little example. We can share frequencies back and forth. So very interesting if you have not realized that before. Don't mean to be over the top, but I am just fascinated by that. And so here's one more idea. And I found this was on let's see, ppn, I think. No, I said that wrong. I'm just having trouble with this slide here. There we go. So I was trying to tell you where it was at. I think it was BBC now. I still can't get there's something covering my slides here a little bit. But a cat purrs at 25 to 100 hertz. So these have been frequencies that are established frequencies in therapeutic medicine for humans. And again, this is according to the BBC. And bone responds to 25 to 50 hertz, which is very, very soft. We can barely hear that. And some people cannot even hear those lower frequencies. And our skin and soft tissues actually respond a little bit more to the 100 to even 150 hertz is what I was reading elsewhere. So they are going to respond to different frequencies, obviously the bones and the skin and soft tissues. So another comment that was made in this article was that petting a cat has long been seen as a form of stress relief. Cat ownership could cut the risk of stroke or heart disease by as much as 1/3. Now, I haven't seen that verified. This was just a quote that I got from the BBC. But we all know that our animals do that for us, you know. So it is kind of interesting how they can be so helpful. The last little comment I want to make, but make sure if you've got a cat that you play lots of parasite frequencies. Those animals do carry parasites. And of course, lots of animals do. But I think cats are a little bit more prone to that. Even if they don't go outside a lot, they're going to have more parasites that can be passed to you. So be careful with that. But love your cats, love your animals, pass and share those frequencies around as you need to with each other back and forth. So in closing a little bit, and then I'll kind of let us jump into some other ideas. But don't forget that we've got about 1,000 different frequencies on the WAVwatch. And if you had an older WAVwatch and ordered the TF card to increase it to 1,000 frequencies, don't forget that that's only adding frequencies. It is not changing anything on the hardware of the watch. So someone who has a newer watch is going to have a little bit more ability to run loops on the watch for different settings, which you would not have on an earlier watch, although you have been able to upgrade to 1,000 different frequencies. And we try to say this in several different ways, but just to say it one more time. Okay. Hey, Joseph and John, what do you think? Where are we at? Jump in and we'll do some discussion here or some testimonies or whatever you need to do. I can't hear you, Joseph, maybe.
We've had some amazing comments and yeah, wow, lots of great things people have shared. So it's up to you. John, do you have any thoughts? Or we only have about 15 minutes, so I'm not sure the best way to do what you're wanting to do, but we will figure it out.
Well, was there any testimonies or that you want to share? Would we like to take a live testimony?
There were many testimonials. I don't know that we'd have time for all of them. What do you think, John?
Why don't you pick one and I'll pick one? You go first because you're older. So old.
The older brother pressure. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me see. Well, he had a recent one. Oh, well, Lori Mason, I see you've been commenting a lot, and you just said that you were having terrible neck and lumbar pain last week. Put on disc compression and pain gone. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. So, would you be willing to share anything more on video, Lori? So we have done this before. It takes just a minute to bring people in. I'm actually trying to remember how to do that. Let me find that.
Colleen, I have read your comments and you make me cry. Thank you. Thank you for your appreciation of the WAVwatch.
All right, so I've invited Lori to join the studio to share about their neck and lumbar pain. But if while we're waiting for that, John, do you want to share one of your comments that you saw?
Oh, I think that I think it was Colleen who I wanted to hear, and then Colleen, and then about lymphedema, and then I might see if Pamela Magnus wants to talk a little bit too.
Is Colleen available to say something, or if you're interested?
Let me see.
All
Invite
right,
to
looks.
video. I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
invite.
you found that.
There's
All
Lori.
right. Yeah, I see Lori. All right, Lori, if you're okay, we're going to bring you in. I see you're on video.
I'm cat sitting right now. I got this little guy right. Like, can you see?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been playing frequencies for him too. He's been just having some health issues, but yeah, I got the watch for my birthday, and I've used it for IBS. I've used it for parasites. Trying to think. It's definitely been a blessing. I wasn't camera ready. I've been at the veterinary already today, and yeah, I'm like, you put me on the spot. But the disc compression, that was, I was in a bad car accident in 2015, and I ended up with a broken wrist and a broken hip, broken femur, and all the metatarsals in my foot. So yeah, a lot of compression in my spine, and I just figure, well, I'll just do some stretches. But one day, you just want to try something different. I'm like, let's see if this has got anything. And I was just amazed. I'm like, it was, and then when I have the carpal tunnel, that always helps with that too. Sometimes I wake up, the doctor says I've got Hashimoto's, but I feel like I don't have enough time to spend as much time as I need using the watch, like 100% of the time, especially with, little animals to take care of. So thank you, Linda. I'm like, this is the first live that I've ever been able to attend, because I volunteer at church every Wednesdays, and I I don't ever get like a link for a replay like I do with the DNA company that,
Mhm.
I keep in contact with those guys. But we got a lot of rain because of Vero, and they said, well, we're not going to open today. So yeah.
All
Here
right.
you
Well,
are.
we're
See, it
glad.
was
So,
supposed to be.
I know.
yeah.
I'm like, this is my first
Yeah.
live that I've ever got to see. So
So glad you could join us.
Sorry if we put you on the spot. We didn't think about that a
Yeah.
little bit.
Sorry about
I
that.
know that. But I'm like, you only live once, and I'm like, nobody's gonna remember how awful I look today. So it's not a beauty contest. Just trying to get well, since my accident. So
Well, so glad
Perfect.
to hear that, and glad you could join us. Thanks a bunch.
yes,
Thanks,
thank
Lori.
you.
All right.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, and God bless you guys.
You
I'm
too.
going to bring Colleen onto stage, who had had a couple of great testimonials as well. Hey, Colleen.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great, thanks.
I
And
have
you?
my WAVwatch.
Nice, nice.
I have been using my watch since May 14th, and I have lymphedema in my left leg, and I wear it from about 8 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And then I give it to my husband because he has a lot of issues too. And he sees I've had it for 15 years, and the size of my left leg is almost practically the size of my right leg now. It has the swelling has gone down so much, and it's only
Oh.
been 2 months. So the testimonial is it's just amazing. I'm so grateful. I've tried everything. I've tried compression socks. I've tried the manual lymph drainage on the massage. It's just, I have no words for what it's done for me. I'm just so blessed to have learned about the technology and Tesla, and I just keep getting I just keep getting more information about frequencies and what it does for your body and the music. You know, it's just, I can't thank you guys enough for what you've done for me.
Oh, thanks. Colleen, do you
it's
know,
amazing.
have you tried not wearing the WAVwatch for a little bit of time? Does your swelling come back? Does it stay away, or you
It
think
stays.
that's yeah.
It stays down pretty well. If there's a lot of humidity in the air and it's really warm, is when it used to get really, really swollen. I mean, it was really large. But I noticed even now, because I live in Michigan, and even now when we have humidity and the heat, it doesn't get nowhere near the swelling that it was. So it is still keeping it down even when I don't have the watch on.
Okay.
And I share it with my husband. So yeah, it's amazing. The technology is amazing.
So somebody was asking what frequency you were using. Is it the edema one, or is it more the lymphedema and the lymph folder?
I have the lymphedema in the lymph folder. I have it on right now, so I have circulation. I have all the lymphedema files.
Okay.
I'm going into my favorites right now. I have it on. I have detox and lymph. I have lymphedema. All the lymph files I have on there. Circulation. So I have multiple files running.
Yes.
At one time.
Perfect. And that's what we encourage everybody to do, is to maybe, I couldn't make hundreds of combinations, but I made as many combos as I could, but she added to hers and made her own playlist. Perfect.
Yes, I did.
All
and
right.
I just keep running it on the continuous loop.
Okay.
So probably 6 to 8 hours. And then I hand it off to my husband, and then he wears it for the 6 hours. And it's really been helping him too with the high blood pressure and the diabetes. And he's been having issues with ulcers. So he's really noticing a difference on all of them things also.
Thank you for that. I noticed somebody did ask if we had any diabetes testimonies, and we have several, and we just had one just now a little bit.
Yes.
We're not making claims. We're not making claims. We're just trying to say that somebody had a testimony for that. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well,
thank you
so much.
Thanks,
God's blessed us with you guys. Let me tell you, you guys are a blessing.
We're thankful for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, Colin.
Bye. Thank you.
God bless.
I'm going to invite Pamela in as well. I'm not sure where the invitation comes to, but it should be on there in a little bit, Pamela. And then while she's looking at that, there have been a couple of questions in regards to battery life and whatnot. What's amazing is Linda, as it says, she's the WAVwatch inventor, and just came up with something really, really incredible that has obviously been helped to so many. And when the WAVwatch was first came out, the way that the playlists ran and the way that the frequencies ran, we were not having people were not having real issues with batteries. But what happens sometimes is the cart gets ahead of the horse. And so basically, when we were able to change up some of the playlist settings and run the endless folder, that being one of your playlist settings, it all of a sudden allowed people to basically bleed their unit dry all the time. And from what we've learned working with our product designer and extraordinaire, who's kind of in the background of this call, and with our manufacturer, is that really in order for your WAVwatch to last a much, much longer time, that we're recommending not using the watch more than between 6 to 8 hours. We're saying 6 to 8 hours a day. And yes, it is possible to use it for 24/7, but it will not last all that long, as the battery will not, it can't stand up to that kind of usage at this point. And so there's nothing wrong with the watch. It's just not designed for 24/7 usage. So that's
Yes.
one thing to keep in mind. And it might seem like it's fine, and then it won't. For some of you that are using it that way. So we just simply recommend using it for that amount of time. And then also, we're still working on getting some studies done, but we're also worrying about sensitivity and how that could be affected as well. Linda, do you want to talk about that a little bit too?
I was just saying, or going to say, if you are wearing the watch 24 hours a day, be prepared to, have your battery replaced. Okay. And know the additional warranty doesn't cover the battery, that is for breakage or water damage, so. And was there something else you asked, John?
No, we're looking to see if Pamela can get on. She was asking about it. And Pamela, you might be able to see an invitation maybe pop up on your screen to get into the studio, but I'm not seeing it yet.
Yeah, and she would have to be joining through the StreamYard link, not through Facebook, I think, to be able to join.
It looks like.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right.
Well,
I've also tried to invite Paul, but I don't see him either.
Pamela,
So-
we might try to catch you another time. Carolyn is wondering if we've addressed scar tissue.
I would say it is in the skin area, skin regeneration. And then there's also adhesions. That's as close as I got. I don't think I found one that just said scar tissue, that I could actually add to the WAVwatch. And then disc decompression is in joints and pain and spine frequencies, slip disc is where that's at. It's in the joint area. Okay. So pain and joints would be where that is.
Okay. Well,
all right.
I think that's about it for us.
Well, I'm trying to.
And then, okay.
No, go ahead, Mom.
No, go ahead.
No, I know you said you wanted to do something fun and different on this call, and I was just trying to figure out how we might do that. So I'm looking at some ideas here. But
someone
you go
was
ahead
saying
and wrap up.
They had been running AFib, but it's not working. How long should I run that? Of course, run that several hours. But the other thing, AFib can be connected to dental. Your back teeth can actually run down into your heart, seriously, and be connected with AFib. So run the dental folder also. So think outside the box just a little bit on that one, and run some other things. You could have an infection, run some bacteria, viruses, parasites, that kind of thing, but very, very specifically run the dental work because those do connect so much with AFib. Okay. New batteries are $50, and you would have to send them off to the company. At this point in time, we have not been able to find, we do our own servicing of the batteries is the way to say that.
All right. I think that's about it. We're mostly got our questions answered and such.
Okay. Well, I have a potential way that we could choose a giveaway winner. I have starred the people that gave testimonials in the comments. Some of them we brought on air. The number is 17. So Linda, if you want to pick a number between 1 and 17, I'll scroll down and we'll give away a free watch.
7. I don't know.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Ah, nice. You landed exactly on Colleen.
Colleen, all right. Who would have known? I didn't see anything there. This wasn't a setup.
Yeah, that was a random selection there at work. But Colleen, thanks so much for sharing. And we will get in contact and send you a free watch for your husband or whoever else you want to share with it. And I just wanted to say, I love this, but I don't know if you all saw in the email I sent yesterday, but the person who won the WAVwatch for the 4th of July giveaway just had a really powerful story about they really had a friend that's dealing with some health issues, and they really thought they needed a watch, so they're going to give their watch to them. I just love the generosity of all of our WAVwatch users and fans. So thank you all for being
Yes.
generous and sharing, and we're so grateful for you.
And we're thankful
Wow.
for you guys to join us today. This has been great.
You know, Joseph and John, when you said you were thinking of a way to try to make this more exciting, I thought you were going to dance and sing or something, you know, waiting for that.
Not today. Not today.
Not today.
Not
And
today.
last but not least, if you don't have a watch yet and you want to get one for $100 off, just go to buy.wavwatch.com and there's the code webinar100. So
All right.
that's a way to get your watch for $100 off.
Maybe we can find out like the WAVwatch's birthday, and we'll do like a birthday song.
There you
Joseph
go.
sung for that. It's like
We could
it's
write
a
it. Yeah.
thing. It's a thing in our family. So we'll work on that, Mom.
That's a good idea.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Because we
Something
really
fun.
do have singers in the family. So there we go.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thank
Look forward to
you.
joining with you next time. And so next week, are we on? Or I know we have in 2 weeks we
2
have
weeks.
2 weeks we have a
Special
special guest, a super special guest from South Africa. I think I did that right. South Africa.
South Africa.
And it's going to be fantastic. She's amazing. We met her at the Dave Asprey's biohacking conference. It's going to be there'll be some salty language, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Pun intended.
That was terrible.
Oh yeah.
He leaked it, but she is an
on.
expert on salt. Oh man. All right.
All right.
Well,
We'll see you all next time. We
thanks
look
everybody
forward
for
to it.
joining. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.